Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/relationship advice, where OP leaves his wife after finding out that she SA'd someone right before they got married. Our first Reddit post comes from Narrow Telephone 7440, titled, "My husband had a 7-month affair that he claims to have ended since I got pregnant." This is a crazy post for me. I'm just looking for some advice. Has anyone stayed with a cheater? Is it worth it to? The story. Yesterday, my husband and I were sitting on the couch together. Mind you, I am 5 months pregnant with our unexpected child, and we literally just got back from a baby appointment together, and our anniversary is next week. Anyway, he passed me his phone to show me a TikTok. I thought it was funny, so I wanted to send it to myself. When I clicked on it and I saw the recently sent people, if that makes sense, I saw a woman's name there. I just got this crazy feeling and I decided to open their messages on TikTok, of all things. Well, to my surprise, there were the messages back and forth, including things about marrying her and them dating and paying for her haircut, etc. I was so confused in the moment and I just stared at the screen and started screenshotting it and sending it to myself before he even realized what I was doing. I handed his phone back to him and just walked away because I didn't know what else to do. They have been flirting and texting and calling, and who knows if they met in person, as my husband and I were in a long distance relationship for 6 months at one point. I have so many screenshots from texts, TikTok, and Instagram. Apparently, this stopped as soon as I found out that I was pregnant in November, which I saw messages as far back as February, even the weekend that we got married. I didn't know whether or not I wanted kids, but I knew I loved him so much that I figured it might not be the best time to be pregnant, but we'll make it work. Yes, we did take more than preemptive measures, and it still ended up happening. Anyways, he's even mentioned this girl to me before. I haven't spoken to him since yesterday, and we do live together. I just don't know what to do. I'm so afraid of being a single mom, but I'm also super afraid of staying in an unhealthy relationship where I'm being cheated on constantly. Is it possible to move past this? Has anyone else gone through this, and were you able to move on? OP, I think he's gaslighting you. I don't think there's a single way that he stopped when you became pregnant. A cheater's a cheater. So... OP, you said that he was texting her like on the weekend of you guys getting married. Like it literally does not get any lower than that. Cheating on your wife when she's pregnant and like on her wedding day. OP, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any saving this. And you know what? He doesn't deserve you in his life. I get it. Being a single mom is terrifying, but hopefully you have a support system to get you through it. But he's not worth it, OP. Trust me, he's just not. Our next Reddit post comes from Throwaway2845, titled, "I saw a text between my fiancé and her sister about my child, her future stepdaughter, and I'm not sure where to go from here." So, for some background, I've been with my fiancée Jade since my daughter Katie, who's 8 now, was 2.5 years old. Katie's mother, Ari, who's 34, left me when she was almost 2, but lived with me for about 6 months until I finally told her that she had to leave. Our relationship was toxic. She was awful to me and has used our daughter against me for a very long time. Jade encouraged me to go get a court order, and I was able to get 50-50 legal custody, even though I do more for Katie than Ari ever has. Ari has always been awful to Jade. Jade has her blocked on everything and only communicates with her when it's absolutely necessary, which is pretty rare to begin with. Jade and I have a son who is almost 1, and this is the long story short. Jade was out for the day with her friends, and I was using her iPad to stream a movie to the TV with my daughter since her iPad was in Jade's car. It was dead, and when I plugged it in, texts started popping up from the night prior, one which said, "You ever think maybe you should just leave him?" I know it's not right to go through phones, but this obviously caught my attention, and I'll admit, I snooped. Jade responded by saying that she could never do that to Katie and loves us both. But she also said at some point in the conversation that she, quote, sometimes wishes that she never met Katie's mother, and essentially that Katie was never born so she could have a nuclear family with just the 3 of us. She follows up by saying that it's not because she doesn't love Katie, it's just because of how hard her mom makes it. She talks about traits in Katie that are obviously from her mother and how she hopes that she grows up to be nothing like her. She talks about how sometimes when Katie's gone, she gets anxiety the night before / morning that she's going to come back because she knows that Katie being here and the potential drama from her mother is coming. She says that she cries sometimes mourning the family that she, quote, could have had with me if I never met Ari and had Katie. Katie adores Jade. She even asks to call her mom and always wants to hang out with her. Jade always plans cool things for her and volunteers at her school. I know they love each other, and I'm not even mad at Jade because I know she went through a lot with Ari, because I went through a lot with Ari, and in the beginning, I know I could have done more to protect Jade. The list is long of awful things that Ari has done, and the court order details prove just that. She also says in her messages that she would never say these things to me because she doesn't want me to feel bad. I know I shouldn't have gone through the messages, but seeing someone text the woman that you want to spend your life with, inquiring about her leaving you, will make anyone panic. She is the happiest, most bubbly, kindest person that I know and brightens anyone's day. I hate that she feels this way. I guess I just want to know if this is something that I should address. How would you feel if you saw these messages regarding your child? OP, that is a tough one. Because one, there's no way that you can bring it up to her without her knowing that you violated her privacy and went through her messages. And secondly, I don't know. It doesn't sound like she said anything like too egregious, right? Like she's not like bad mouthing your daughter and she's not bad mouthing you. She's just, maybe feeling a little resentful, maybe because of your ex. Maybe it has nothing to even do with you and, your daughter. Maybe it's all because of the ex and how much drama she is. But either way, OP, maybe approach the conversation, in a roundabout way without letting her know that you snooped through her phone if you really want to have that conversation. But it doesn't sound like it's anything that's going to be detrimental to your relationship. It seems like she really loves your daughter and she really cares about her. So, maybe focus on that for now, I guess. I don't know, OP. That's a tough situation to be in. Our next Reddit post comes from Orange Roses AR, titled, I got diagnosed with an incurable disease and I want to leave my wife so she doesn't have to deal with it. In a couple of years, I'll start getting strokes. They'll keep happening and drop me into dementia. After that, I basically become a vegetable. The doctor told me I'm not likely to make it past 60, and I absolutely 100% do not want to put my wife through that. We got married 3 years ago and have been together for 8 years. I understand there's the in sickness and in health, but I feel like forcing her to go through this is just cruelty. That's not fair to her. She doesn't deserve that. My brother got really mad at me and told me to reverse the roles in my head. If she were sick, would I want her to leave me? Would I want her to leave? No, I wouldn't, but I don't want to rob her of a life either, and I don't want to wait until things go downhill. Let's just end it in a calm before the storm type of way. What are your thoughts? I want to hear from people who aren't family. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting her to have a rich, fulfilling life instead of spending 20 years just watching me die. And then we have a quick update from OP. I truly appreciate every single response, from the short replies to the strongly worded messages, and I'll keep reading new ones. I don't blame any range of reaction to my post. I worded it frankly, and that invites frank answers, and I especially appreciate your story shared. That comes from a vulnerable place, and you still chose to share with me. It's been an emotional afternoon, and I had a knee-jerk reaction, and I don't regret posting it. Yes, it's a website full of strangers, but if I didn't put it into words, even the impulsive, fast ones, I would have burst. As for my wife, we went straight to some very gentle talking. I showed her this post, actually, and we even went through some of the comments. Our discussion was similarly a frank one. How do we feel in this moment? What are we thinking in this moment? We have plenty of time to analyze this, so let's focus on the here and now. So I again thank you all for reading and taking the time to respond. OP, hopefully that means you and your wife had a good conversation about this, but yeah, OP, I think Your brother hit it right on the head. How would you feel if the roles were reversed? You would want to be there and support her, right? And at the bare minimum, have this conversation with her. Lay it out on the table. Hey, is this something that you want to go through? Because if you don't, I love you enough to truly tell you that I want you to be happy and you don't have to go through this with me. But don't just leave her and rob her of that choice. Have that conversation with her and let that be her choice if she wants to see that through with you or not. Either way, I'm glad you guys got to talking, OP. I hope everything works out, and, I hope you have many, many years ahead of you, OP. Our next Reddit post comes from Tej Manley, titled, I want a divorce since I was told that my wife may have SA'd our mutual friend. Am I making a bigger deal out of this than it really is? I met my wife in 2021 through mutual friends. We took our relationship seriously from the very start and moved in together within just a few months, got engaged at 9 months, and married in 2023. Early in our relationship, we often hung out with a group that included Anna, a longtime acquaintance of mine, and one of my wife's friends/coworkers. One night, while drinking and playing Truth or Dare, Anna dared my wife to kiss her. I protested, but my wife kissed Anna anyway and later went to the bathroom with her. This made me uncomfortable, especially given my past experiences with bisexual exes. When I addressed it the next day, my wife reassured me that she was straight and apologized. I told her that kissing is intimate to me and asked her not to do it again, which she agreed to. After our wedding, my wife distanced herself from Anna and resented that I still occasionally texted her. She would start arguments whenever she saw messages from Anna, despite insisting that she was fine with us remaining friends. To keep the peace, I definitely minimized contact, but tensions persisted. A month ago, while house hunting, my wife became furious after learning that I had personal news from Anna. She finally admitted that she wanted me to just cut contact with her altogether, so I did. Shortly after, my longtime friend Emily, who had become friends with Anna, revealed something shocking. During our engagement, while Anna was visiting, my wife got drunk with her, kissed her, groped her, and tried to initiate passionate hugging. Anna, feeling pressured and betrayed, did not reciprocate. Later, Anne sent me photos from that night showing her and my wife in lingerie posing in our bedroom. When I confronted my wife, she downplayed the event, claiming that the kiss was, quote, platonic and denying any wrongdoing. However, Anna had confided in others about this incident years ago, making it unlikely that she fabricated the story. Feeling betrayed, I moved out. My wife has since admitted that it was cheating, but insists that she doesn't remember much or have any recollection or explanation for her actions. Given the evidence, her story doesn't add up, and I'm just struggling with what to believe here. OP, aside from the essay, claims, she cheated on you, and she even admitted that it's still cheating. Whether it's a guy or a girl, cheating is cheating. You clearly set a boundary that you didn't want her to kiss even other women, and you still saw that as cheating, and she still did it. And then she tried to take it a huge step further and initiate passionate hugging with said female. Now it kind of makes sense why she always got so angry at you for talking to her throughout the years, because she was probably scared that at some point, Anna was gonna feel so overwhelmed with the guilt or the situation that she would just tell you one day, and she was gonna be outed and have to deal with the situation head on, like she's having to deal with now. So, OP, for what it's worth, to answer your question, I don't think you're making a bigger deal out of this than what it is. At the end of the day, she cheated on you, and if you want to leave her for that, I think you're more than in your right to do that. Our next Reddit post comes from Throwaway94542, titled, My stepfather is going to force me to move out because my mother is pregnant and my mother is just going along with it. How do I not resent my mother for this? My mother married my stepfather last year. My parents had divorced, and my mother and father were just never very compatible, as my father was Russian, and the cultural differences between him and my mother were just too large. So he went back to Russia, married another woman, and now has quite a few children, although I'm not allowed to see any of them. But he's not a terrible person. He's always sent me money and sent my mother money for me, and he never forgot about my birthday, Easter, Christmas, or even the first day of school for the year. I don't have a strong connection to him, but I don't particularly have negative feelings for him either. However, I do have those with my stepfather. He criticizes my mother's parenting of me. He thinks I'm off the rails or something, but I'm literally fine. I go out with my friends, yes, but I'm in the best kind of secondary education and my grades are good. Other parents would be perfectly fine with me because I don't do anything that wrong. And when he found out about my boyfriend, he acted like I was some kind of terrible person. It was ridiculous. When he is a perfectly respectable guy that's actually very nice. So when they got married, I really wasn't very happy, but at least the cake was good, and at least my mother was happy. But recently, my mother told me that she was pregnant. I was upset and I tried to hide it because I didn't want to make her feel sad because she's really happy. But I really don't like it. It's not fair. And if it's a girl, she's going to basically be replacing me with another baby with her perfect, stupid husband. But then he got mad at me for not being really happy and making my mother sad. But of course, I'm not going to be happy by that. And I do feel bad for my mother because, it's not her, it's him. But I felt that I could probably tolerate it until all of this happened. I finished school in July, and he basically came up to me and asked me what my plans were as far as where I was going to live after I finished school. I said here because I was planning on living at home for about 2 or 3 more years and then move out after, because I don't feel ready to move out and I do love my mother, so I didn't want to just leave her yet. And then he told me that he and my mother had decided that after I finished school, I would no longer be welcome to live there because they don't feel comfortable with my hostility in the house. And I get it. Legally, I am an adult and they can make me move out if they want to. But it's the fact that my mother is just taking his side, someone that she's only known for 4 years, over me when she's known me my whole life and literally gave birth to me. And I don't know, I feel awful. I love my mother, and now she's just trying to get rid of me for her perfect life with her stupid husband and baby. She told me that she was sorry, but she just feels weak. I don't want to hate her for this, but I'm starting to, and I feel awful. OP, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's absolutely awful what your mom is doing. As a mother, I don't know, as a partner, husband, mother, dad, whatever, if you're going to remarry, I think it's super important that you find a partner that is supportive of you and that is willing to love your kids as if they were their kids. Or, even if they're not going to do that, just at least treat them the same way that they would treat, whatever kid that you have together, and just make it fair so there's no resentment growing up. It doesn't seem like she did that, and she's clearly choosing a man over her own child, which is terrible. I would never choose, if me and, God forbid, right? I pray to God nothing ever does, but if something ever did happen, to me and my wife and, she passed away or something and I was looking at, remarrying, I would never, ever choose another person over my literal child. That is diabolical, OP. So I don't blame you for feeling resentful. I would feel resentful if I were you too. So I don't know, OP. I don't know what the answer is here, but if I were you, I would just, do the best you can to move out and distance yourself for a while. That was Reddit After Hours, bringing you r/relationship advice. Thank you all so much for listening. And if you like these stories, like and subscribe as we post a new Reddit video almost every single day.